get ready with me for church. So, since today is Sunday, I want to share something that has been on my mind lately that my mom mentioned to me earlier as well. So, you know how there's this trend where we look at people from the Bible and we're like, oh, I want, I, I want to be prosperous like Joseph. I want to be blessed like Abraham. I want to be chosen like Esther. Things like that. So, like, what has been on my mind lately is that, like, we always say those things and we want the blessings of the people in the Bible, we want to be chosen and everything, right? We want to be like them. And you want the same favor, even if it's not people from the Bible, but maybe somebody that you saw on Instagram or mostly Instagram, right? And then you admire their life, you admire their relationship that they have. But the biggest question is that, and one thing that we don't talk about is how did those people achieve that favor, right? What made God choose those people? And besides God choosing those people, like, what did they have to go through for them to be chosen for that assignment, right? Before they got to the point where they received the blessing. Because we always look at the blessing, but we don't look at how do they get to the point of getting that blessing, right? Because it takes a level of obedience, it takes faith, it takes your prayers, right? The connection that you have with God. Sometimes even if you're not connected with God, just like how Paul was, but God still calls you, right? And he appoints you, and then he gives you an assignment to follow through. And then once you have followed through the assignment, you rest on the promise that you will receive the prosperity. He will see you through it. The one who begins a good thing in your life will make sure that it comes to completion, right? So how do we get to that point is something that we don't talk about. Like looking at the story of Joseph and everything that Joseph went through before we look at the part that he was a prosperous man. Right? Do you think, look at the relationship that you have with your family. Like you're probably a person who even has a hard time forgiving your family, right? You're probably a person who has a hard time dealing with what is going on in your life right now. You're continuously blaming God for everything that is happening in your life, or you're continuously a person who looks at the problem and never look at what can I do from here on, look at what can you do from here on, and what is God saying to me at this point right now, right? And then it's like, how do you ever get to a part where you see God's blessings if you're continuously focusing on the bad thing that is happening in your life right now, or whatever it is that is preventing you from seeing the new thing that God is doing in your life, right? And I think this is how most of us are. We are so fixed on the end results, but we don't look at how do we get to the end result of where we see good things happening in our lives. The obedience point. Are we even obedient to God? All right, if God had told you to pick up your things and leave your parents' house and go to the land where you can go to the promised land. You don't even know where he is taking you. He's not even specific to tell you what is going to happen to you from here on. But Abraham just packed up his things, took his family, and he went, just as how God had told him to do, right? And also with Joseph, what I truly love about the story of Joseph is that it always talks about how it always says, but God was with Joseph. But God was with Joseph. This is how God was with Joseph. God is always with you. Even in those moments where you feel like, but God, where are you when I just lost my mom? Where are you when my dad has just died? Where are you when I've just lost my job? Where are you when, and I don't know what I'm going to eat tomorrow? Where are you in this moment? And the beautiful thing is that it says, but God was with Joseph. But God is with you in this moment, even though it feels like he is not with you and you feel like he is so distant, you can't see him, you don't understand what is happening, but God is with you. And because God was with Joseph. Joseph was prosperous in everything. Like Joseph, even when he was sent to prison, because God was with Joseph, he caused the water, the prison water, or God, whatever it is that they called him, to favor Joseph. Right? He put him, like he still appointed him, like he still favored Joseph even when he was in prison, guys. So even when you are in the most tragic life experience that you can think of, or you're currently going through, God is with you. God is with you. I love Isaiah 43, if I'm not mistaken, where he says, yeah, I think it's Isaiah 43 verse 18 to 19, where he talks about how do not look at the former things, perceive the new thing that I am doing in your life. Do not perceive it. I am making ways for you in the wilderness. So he's making ways in the wilderness. You won't see the things that God is doing for you if you're continuously looking at the bad things that are happening in your life. And Joseph had to not look at the fact that he was abandoned continuously for him to see that actually he's being favored. He didn't look back all the time. When his brothers came back, the trauma came back, of which is like anybody else. Like, right, when there's something that reminds us of the past, it obviously triggers us. Just as how Joseph was triggered as well. But then he learned that he had to forgive. Right? And I love the beautiful thing that he said as well in the end. He's like, what you meant for evil, God has turned it to for my good. Right? So whatever the enemy has planned for evil for you, God will turn it to a beautiful thing for you. He'll turn it for your good. So even when you may be going through those things, and the thing is, you won't see the good thing that God is doing in your life if you're continuously looking at the faults. So the point is here that, are you ready to take on the challenge that you had to go through before you can get to experience His grace, before you can get to experience the joy, the prosperity, the blessings, and everything else that it comes with? Because I know so many people as well who always talk about how I know so many people always talk about how they want their life to change. They always ask for prayers and stuff like that. But I think, and this is like really the most challenging thing about running a ministry, is that you have so many people saying all these things like, please pray for me, I want to be better and stuff like that. But however, when you give them the assignment, like, okay, do this, they won't do it. They won't do it. Like, you'll tell them, let's wake up at midnight and pray, because those are the devil hours, right? So you're fighting back with godly hours, right? People won't wake up and pray. And it's like, how do I continuously help you if you can't help yourself? How will you get to see and experience the grace? Well, not that you'll get to experience the grace, but you'll get to see the grace when you don't open your eyes to perceive it, right? I mean, it's not like my life is a great life. It is great because it has God in it. But I go through some really bad things as well. Like, and it really hurts. I go through trauma, I go through depression, I go through a lot of things. But because I'm continuously learning how to, no, I'm continuously seeking, because I am continuously seeking, it makes my life easier for me to move forward. Makes my life easier for me to see God the way that He sees me, right? And the moment that I start to see God the way that He sees me, I become more alive. I realize that I'm able to stand, right? And that is what is expected from us. There are moments where I don't want to pray, but I pray because there's nothing else that I can do. It's either my prayer that may probably not give me peace that very moment, but I know that peace is coming my way at the end of the day, and it's through the grace of God that those things are happening for me. And it is grace that keeps me going all the time. So therefore, yeah. So my point is that, like, are you ready to take on? And don't always think that you have to do things by yourself. You don't have to. God can tell you to rest in a moment where you feel like, how can I rest when there's so many bad things happening in my life? And God would just tell you, rest. And that's the God that I serve. A God who will tell me not to handle things for myself, but the God who will tell me that the time is coming, that He will tell me to do something to help myself. But at this very moment, He's asking me to rest. By resting, I mean that He is asking me to depend on Him. So I've prayed about it. I have done something about it. Like, I have put in my next step forward. Now it's all up to Him to make things happen for me. And for me to let Him do the work, I need to sit back and watch Him do it. But it's all discerning as well. But point is, are you ready to take on the assignment that was given to Joseph, that was given to Abraham, that was given to Esther? Esther had to fast, you guys, 3 days straight up praying. Some of us, whenever we are asked, or we have when our spirit tells us, when God tells us to fast, we are complaining in our fasting. Cool, complain in your fasting, but do you even fast that for that long? That's the thing. Like, do you take it even seriously when it is brought into your spirit to do so? Right? And those are the things that we need to look at, that for us to achieve certain things, and for us to be looking at all these people in the Bible, are we also playing our part? But at the end of the day, what I will say is, it is all grace that certain things are happening for us. Some people don't even have to go through that much extent, like, right, to achieve something because of the grace that it was given to them. But however, when you look at another person's life and you desire the other person's life, this is why you have to ask yourself, like, would you do the very same thing that this person has done? And I'm not saying do it, but would you do it? Because you can't sit and admire somebody else, and meanwhile you wouldn't even put in the very same effort that somebody else has put in to be where they are. It goes to say as well in like business. In order for your business to be successful, you need to put in the work, you need to put in the hours. You can't see somebody who has already put in the work and the hours, and you can see that things are working out for them. They're working out because that person has put in. You can't be jealous over that or envy that when you have not even done that for yourself, right? Anyway, that is my word for today, you guys. Like, there's just like my thought, and I just wanted to share it with you while I do my get ready with me. However, yeah, let me just do a quick outfit review. This is my outfit. What do you think? Then I'm gonna carry this bag with me. Cute, right? But I'm not gonna put on any makeup today.